I got a new stone I want to try out tonight. This is the Nubatama Bamboo 6000 grit. I used it last night briefly, just running over a knife, seeing what it felt like. Once I was done, I lapped it. And as you can see right here in the corner, didn't quite get that area once I lapped it. It appears that spot is a little lower than the rest of the stone, which is quite all right. I'm just going to let it go, and as I use it, the stone will start to wear and get lower until it's at that point. So when I lap it the next few times, it'll get there. It is not a soaking stone. It appears like it's a splash and go. I've got 3 knives here I'm going to test out. I've got a Benchmade Serum. This is the dual action Benchmade. It's both automatic and manual. It's 154 cm steel. I've got a real steel Megladon. This is in 14C28 steel. And finally, we got a Spyderco Salt in H1 steel. I've sharpened all of these knives and got them set up with the 4000 grit Nubatama Bamboo scratch pattern. So we're going to jump straight into the bamboo on each one and see what the scratch pattern's like. I'm going to start with the real steel first. Wash off any of the 4K grit that still remains. Show you the bevel real quick. Hopefully this will pick up. So it's got a little bit of a shine to it from the 4K, but it's not real bright. Of course, it's nowhere near a mirror finish. I'm gonna rinse this under the faucet. Looks like I have some particulates maybe floating down, getting on the stone. Each of these knives is set at a different angle too, so it may take me a minute to hit them just correct. And already I can see it starting to shine up. This stone reminds me very much of the 8K Norton Water Stone. It's got the same kind of feel, the same marshmallowy texture, if that's a word. It's kind of soft, yet at the same time it's got that rigidness. You can tell it's a dense stone underneath, but there is that softness to it that if your angle is off, you know you're going to snow plow right into the stone and take a chunk out, which I actually did last night. It was really pleasurable to sharpen on. As you can see, it's getting some buildup of metal swarf. It's just clinging to the stone, but it comes right off with just a little rubbing. And it's definitely brightening up the polish, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I'll go a few more strokes on this, and then we'll go to another knife. Now the bamboo line is a little more expensive than the ume line, but this stone was actually fairly priced in comparison. So next up, we're going to do the salt one. At least I think it's the salt one. Either way, it's H1 steel. Now Spyderco has a funky little choil here. You gotta really go into the stone to get to that area. And let me show you this before I get much further. This is the side from 4000 grit. Make sure I get a shot of that before I get all polished up here. Ooh, I just dug into the stone. I don't know if you saw that. Just dug right in. I'm trying not to use any pressure here, but things can happen and you can go right into that stone without even knowing it. It's got a very nice polish. I'm really liking this stone. I didn't ask Ken if they had an 8K bamboo, but I should have. He informed me that he's fixing to get, I believe it's an 8K platinum. Maybe it was a 6K platinum, I can't remember. He said they're not in stock yet, but they're coming soon. I was looking to get maybe a set of platinum stones, but decided to go with one bamboo and one ume for now until he gets that platinum series in. When he gets the platinum series in, I think I'm going to get a full set. They, from what he said, cut modern steels much better than the ume or the bamboo line. So I'm really curious to give those a shot. Looks like I'm missing right up at the shoulder on both sides, so my angle's not quite perfect. So I'm gonna go just a little bit longer, but before I do, I'm gonna clean this. I'm just using a Nagara stone here. This is a Tanjo. I'm going to leave the slurry on. With a little help, hopefully that'll ride up and hit that shoulder. Using a slurry though, it tends to haze up your polish. You get that Sharpening sandblast kind of finish. But that's not looking too bad at all. But I'm still not quite getting where I need to be. I think I may have convexed this edge a little more than I wanted to. Going back and forth like this, the tendency is there for your hand to roll, and I can totally feel my hand rolling. So I think that's what's happened, because I've gotten a little too much convex into it. All right, we're gonna call this one good. And we'll move on to the final knife, which is my Benchmade Serum. Again, it's a dual action. You got both automatic and manual. I don't carry this one much. I don't know. The dual action caught my attention when it first came out, but not within an hour or two of owning this knife, the spring broke on me. You got to be really careful when you're opening it in auto format. If the knife is even the little bit open like that by manual action, if you pull back on that spring too hard, it'll break. Anyway, enough about the knife. Let's see how this works with the steel. Now this one's got a really low angle. I did it on the Edge Pro at 15 degrees. So the belly and the tip especially, I may not fully contact them. Can't tell if I'm hitting it or not. I'm actually gonna do the old Sharpie trick. I can't tell if I'm hitting the bevel or not. The scratches are so fine. This will let me know. All right, so that's too high. Drop it down a little bit. All right, so that one's pretty low. And that one's pretty low. So I had the angle about right. It's just really low to the stone. There we go. I'm starting to see some polish now. I'm gonna go ahead and lap the stone real quick, get all this buildup removed. All right, got it lapped. I'm gonna go ahead and get this knife finished up, and I'll bring you guys down and show you what these edges look like. Have to be careful because the stone is so susceptible to getting dug into. Any slight pressure with the incorrect angle and you're going to have a gouge in your stone. I've got one right there from where I did it earlier. This is not a forgiving stone, not in the least. So you got to bring your A game when you use this guy. And my bevel is still a little foggy, still a little hazy. Ooh, almost cut myself. I think that's where I'm going to call it. We'll go in order that I sharpen these knives in. So first was the Real Steel Megladon. This one went to the stone quite nicely. But this still loves to be sharpened. You can kind of see the scratch pattern. Very much reminds me of the Norton Water Stone 8K. The feel, the scratches, the softness, how easily it could be snow plowed. Just everything about it really reminds me of that stone. So if you got a Norton 8K, you'll know exactly what this stone feels like. As I was saying, this stone can be snow plowed quite easily, so you really got to be on your A game when sharpening on it, because any little misstep and you're going to dig right into the stone. Now this is H1 steel. I've noticed this stuff does not like to polish. It'll take an edge quite easily, but it doesn't like to polish bright. See if I can get the scratch pattern here to show up. And I've got this one convexed. Not purposely, but just the nature of the beast when sharpening this. You see right there, I didn't even hit the edge. But I wasn't really after the sharpness. I just wanted to see what the scratches look like. And finally, we've got the Benchmade in 154 cm. This one didn't accept the stone readily. It took a little work. Be it Benchmade's heat treat, I don't know. But it did not want to sharpen. Now I've got a micro bevel on this one. I had sharpened it on the Edge Pro, so you might see that micro bevel shining through. So this is the 154 cm. Started to get down into that micro bevel. I'm very quickly going to strop these knives just to see how the bevel looks. This is a strop block with white compound. 14C28 just takes an edge so well. This is the 154 CM. Brightened up quite a bit. Still got a little splotchiness, but it might be from my angles. Like I said, this thing is at 15 degrees on the Edge Pro, and I wasn't able to mimic it very well. Will say feedback on that stone is not the best, but again, it took a nice polish. I'm not sure how well it's showing up. So it took a nice polish. Again, nowhere near a mirror finish, but it's reflective. Here is the real steel, 14C28. Like I said, this stuff just loves to take an edge. It is so easy to sharpen, so easy to maintain. It brightened up really nicely. Again, the reflectivity. Finally, the Spyderco in H1 steel. This one polished up nicely. Looks a lot better than it did coming off the stone. Still see some of the deeper scratches from the original sharpening. Got a little toothy aggression. Very pleasurable stone. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.